I bounce between traditional painting, using stuff like Posca pen, markers, stuff like that, and digital. Growing up skateboarding, I started skating when I was 12. Some of the first art that I saw was like, that I really enjoyed was, skateboard graphics, whether it was like Toy Machine, Blind, Zero. I was always drawn to that stuff, and I remember I used to draw all over my binders, like the little Blind logo or the Toy Machine Devil logo. And then from there, I found out about the artists that made the boards, like Ed Templeton, Margaret Kilgallen, Barry McGee, and I think those are all artists that I grew up admiring, and I definitely draw inspiration from those artists, and I think that's got a lot to do with like the style that I work in, very kind of bold, graphic shapes and colors. I just think I've always loved creating art since I was a little kid. I've always enjoyed like making my own little flip book animations. I remember stealing my parents' like little post-it notes and doing like Dragon Ball Z, like little stick figure animations. And I guess I just never kind of grew out of it, so it's always something that I do. I love creating imagery. You can reach a bigger audience with a message through your artwork, especially right now since I've been touching on a lot of subjects of growing up as a first-generation Mexican-American. When I did a show, I'll have people that grew up like me and come up and like, they're stoked on what I'm doing. It kind of excites them to see that, like these people that work so hard are getting kind of, they're getting honored, which I feel like in Idaho, you don't see a whole lot of at the moment. I could be wrong, but just as far as like public art goes, you don't see a whole lot of those stories being told. Definitely grew up in a community where I saw like a lot of the people that were immigrating here and kind of the jobs they did. And lately it's been kind of nice in a way. It's almost like honoring kind of like the people that sit on the side of the street and sell corn, or the guy that pushes the ice cream cart for hours in the summer. And I think it's kind of cool to honor that. I think it pushes me to follow my dreams and do that, just seeing like how hard these people work. It's definitely inspired by a lot of stuff that I grew up seeing when I would go visit Mexico. A lot of the colors I would see, a lot of the colors you still see in like the architecture, lots of teals, bright pinks, yellows. It's so nice to be able to like do your work in one room, and then when you're done, go into another room and sleep and not be like surrounded by it all the time. Because it definitely, I think it is nice to be able to step away from it, go into a different room in your house or wherever you are and kind of just like separate yourself from it, take a break. Because for me, it's always better to step away from a painting, look at it with fresh eyes, be able to come back and see if I see anything versus just like always looking at it and always being in there. It's kind of nice. At first I was kind of like, I don't know, I saw Boise as a small community, and I guess I just never really knew many artists, but I can definitely say now that it's offered a lot to me, just, from Prestige Skate Shop, growing up, knowing those guys, doing work with them, and I think just the smaller community, word gets around, like you do one project for somebody, they recommend you to somebody else. At first it kind of did seem hard, like I just didn't know what I was doing, there was kind of no guidance, I was just like, just kind of floating there, and I would get commissions here and there. And I think it was after I got a few bigger ones, like Prestige Skate Shop had me design a board for them, which led to another job for helping JD's Bodega design some of their logo work and some of the stuff that's printed on their merch. And then it just kind of kept growing and growing, and one thing kind of led to another. I mean, I think the ultimate goal for me is to be able to do this as a living, to be able to just survive and be able to, buy a house one day, be able to do all that stuff just from creating art. I think it's something that I've realized that I don't want to live any life that isn't less than a creative life, even if it means like working at a grocery store, and then doing my art stuff on the side. But I think to me, that's more satisfying than maybe, getting a job that I don't like but pays me well. Even if one day I had to, I realized like I couldn't do this for forever, I think it's something I'll always still do, always still paint, always still doodle. I've done it since I was a little kid, and I definitely don't see it stopping anytime soon.